Hello everyone, and welcome back to another week of Edible Estates. As you can see, my bed has sort of come down in size. I had quite a lot of damage after the storm, and I've harvested my brassicas because they were ready for harvesting. So the broccoli and the cabbage are gone. I left some of the leaves there of this cabbage over here just for the cabbage white butterfly caterpillars, and my spud was blown over, so I had to dig it up, and in digging it up I realized that I hadn't planted the seed potato deep enough, and what happens is if you plant it really deep, as it's growing up towards the light, it's sending out little roots that will grow potatoes. So if it's planted too close to the surface, it doesn't have as much space to send those out. So next time I will plant it deeper. But I got about 8 potatoes from that. My leeks are still slowly leaking along. I'm not quite sure what they're doing, so I'll give them a bit longer, and then I might try and pull up the biggest one and see what it's looking like underneath the surface. My strawberries have gone crazy with runners. They've sent out, probably got about 10 runners that are going across the bottom of the bed here. So I've just been finding the little nodes where the roots are, and I've been burying them and just covering them with a bit of soil. So they'll all become new strawberry plants. And the ones at the front here are still doing well as well. My nasturtium has, what's left of my nasturtium, because half of it was blown off, and it had started to put out little seeds. So the nasturtium seeds, you may start seeing them on your own flowers, and they're like little pods, and they'll dry on the plant, and you can save those for next year, and if you plant them next year they'll grow a few. And that's just a little bit of, I suppose, a start at seed saving. They're great ones to save. And another good one is the calendula. This is not quite ready for seed saving yet. It'll flower, and then the flower will, the petals will fall off, and the inside of the flower will just dry out into little curved seeds, and you can save those for next year as well. So that's pretty much what's been happening in the bed. Okay, so just to show the root, these are the strawberries that we planted into the wee pots a couple of weeks ago, and you can see that they've started rooting themselves down. So once you plant those little nodes in on the runners, they'll root themselves, and once they're well established with the roots, then we can look at actually separating them from the mother plant, and then they'll be their own plant. So I'd say that one's probably ready for separation, and I'll just get a pair of secateurs or scissors and just snip it free. So put that one back in. Straw. And as we're getting to the end of the growing season, it's going to be time to feed our soil quite soon. So once the veg have been harvested, so once the cabbage and the broccoli or cauliflower have been picked, you can pull out the whole plant. I'll pull that out probably sometime this week. It doesn't have any caterpillars on it anymore. The kale, I'll cut the last of the leaves and pull that up as well. It's an annual, so it's not going to grow back again next year. The leeks will come out, the nasturtiums will flower, and then they'll go to seed, and they can come out. The rosemary is perennial, which means it's going to be coming back again next year, so we'll leave it where it is, and the strawberries as well. And then we'll feed the soil around it, and probably the simplest way to do that is to get a mix of autumn leaves when the leaves start falling, and some grass cuttings. Both of those give different nutrients back into the soil, so just make a mix of them, not too many of the grass cuttings because they can be a bit rich, and then just sort of spread that around in the bed, mix it up a little bit with the compost, and then that'll break down over winter, and in springtime the soil will be full of nutrients again. I just wanted to say thanks for joining us for Edible Estates. This is probably going to be the last full video that we'll do because we've reached the end of the growing season this year. But what we'll be doing is just, if there's anything that comes up going forwards, we'll just post short clips into the groups. Things like when the calendula turns into seeds, just to give an example of what the seeds look like when you're saving them. And yeah, if anything else interesting happens, we'll post it. But hope you've enjoyed your experience of growing, and hopefully we'll be doing it again next year.